Hey guys, we are going into week 6 and tomorrow starts Barnyard Palooza, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. We're going to be changing some things, hopefully to make it a little bit easier on check-in and check-out with so many kids. And then we also have a couple very important and urgent matters that we need to discuss and make sure that get implemented by tomorrow. So that's why I'm doing this little video, so that way you guys don't have to read it all because it's quite long and lengthy. So I want to try and make sure that we have it all together, and you guys just have to listen for a couple minutes. So bear with me while we get through it, and I'm going to try and go over things as quick as possible. So first thing first, if you guys, the end of last week was a pretty tough day on Friday. So if you know anything about that, if you heard what happened, please make sure that you don't share it with anybody else. If you are a staff member that didn't know anything about it, then we can't disclose any information. I can just let you know that the parents were notified, the police department was there, and we had an incident in regards to the restroom. So that is why I think it's important that we do this update, and that way we can get it out to all of you at once and not have to have a big staff meeting when it's already crazy on Monday morning. So please stay professional about it. If you do know anything, don't share it with your friends, don't share it with your family members, don't share it with coworkers. Absolutely no family should know. Inside camp, outside camp, it does have to stay confidential. So please keep that in mind and make sure that you stay professional. If you need to talk to me at any time, please feel free to pull me aside and have that conversation. So the second thing that I want to go over is a couple of changes that are going to happen. So there will no longer be a buddy system, so campers may not be at any time be unsupervised. So if they need to grab a water bottle, it has to be a volunteer or leader with them at all times. If they need to go to the restroom, they may not go alone anymore. So kids cannot be by themselves, period, at all anymore. And there's no exceptions to that rule. Please don't even send my own children, make them have a leader go with them. Number 2, or actually it's the third thing, we're going to be breaking down the check-in groups to reduce the amount of kids that we have per group, to help you guys be able to keep a better eye on all the campers and kind of get to know them a little bit more. And hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to play some games with them during the times that they're doing check-in and check-out. And so please remind all your campers when they go to get ready for morning announcements, or when they get ready for the activities after lunch and that kind of stuff, that they remember to grab their water bottle, because they're not going to be able to go back to their carts. They need to make sure that they have it with them, so make sure that you remind them. If you don't see one in their hand, ask them, hey, did you bring a water bottle today? Do you need one? Let's get your water bottle if you need it. So how it's going to work is we're going to split them down a little bit further. So we're going to have the A's and B's be together, and that's going to be run by Sarah's going to be the lead on that, and then Aaliyah is going to be your helper. The C through D is going to be Cassie and Brooke. Then we're going to go E through F, which is going to be Ellie, Robbie, and Ashley for the morning, and then Danny will come in the afternoon after lunch. The G through J is going to be Caden and Jason. The K through L is going to be Mackenzie and Matt. The M through P is going to be Jamel and Miguel. The Q through R is going to be Daniela and Joey. The S through T is going to be Anthony and Abby. The U through Z is going to be Corn, and then Brendan and Devin, because Brendan is there in the morning and Devin is there in the afternoon. Check-in in the morning is going to continue to be Bree, and then check-out is going to be Taylor and Allie. We need to have all hands on deck for the next couple weeks, so I've scheduled everybody to be there. Those that weren't on a normal schedule, I've asked them to come in at different times, so I'm going to post that schedule tomorrow. And then where you guys are going to be located as far as ABC groups, I'm going to have a map on the board tomorrow morning when you get there, so make sure that you check that out so you know where you're supposed to be. And then I've ordered some more backpack carts, so they should be here this week. Until then, we're just going to have to pile them on the tables and around the area, so we'll have those shortly. Next thing is we've added, as I talked about just a minute ago, we added more staffing per day, so we'll see how that goes. I want to make sure that we have enough eyes peeled all over the place, enough help for everybody. and all that kind of stuff. Next, I know that sometimes it's funny, but we need to make sure that we keep the sexual innuendos or the sometimes we turn things into something dirty that doesn't need to be dirty. And I admit sometimes it's funny, but we have to keep that to ourselves. It cannot be at camp anymore. It's not appropriate for camp. We've had some parents overhear some of the conversations, and so it absolutely cannot happen. We never know who's listening, where they're at, where they're coming from. So we need to just wipe it out completely. And if I hear you talking about it, you're going home. So it's got to be pretty serious. And I know that I've been a part of it at one point. I know Shima's part of it at some points, but it's all got to stop. We can't do it anymore. We have parents complaining, and it's just not appropriate for the staff or the kids. And next thing, campers and parents come first. So there's been a lot of times where you guys have either been laughing or joking, having a good time with one another, which is totally fine. Parents don't know if you are on clock, off the clock. So while we're on premise, you have to stay professional at all times. I love that you guys are good friends. I love that you're making friendships, building friendships with each other. I think that's completely awesome, and I think it's necessary. We just have to do it when we're in the staff room, and definitely not in front of parents. There's been a lot of parents, even I've seen it, where the parents get ignored, the child gets ignored because we're too busy talking to one another that we're not acknowledging the children. So children and campers always come first. I want you guys to start calling them by name. If I see a child walk in the morning, I expect you guys to say hi. I expect you to call them by name. You can yell them down. Miguel's really good about that, of yelling out their name and making them feel super special, which also makes the parents feel good that you know their kids' names. So we need to make sure that we start doing that, and that you put the parents and the campers first, and then everybody else comes next after that. For those of you that I haven't assigned an activity group, I want to make sure that you guys are taking that downtime to help organize things around camp, to walk around in the groups, make sure that they don't need anything. If they need help, help them where it's needed. And then you guys should never have time to be sitting and chatting about non-camp issues. So you shouldn't be sitting down on a chair. You shouldn't be sitting down talking and chatting with one another. I need you guys to be moving, talking, checking water jugs, checking to make sure that the kids don't need anything, double checking bathrooms, making sure that they're clean, all that kind of stuff. And then I think that's it for that. Before and after care, we're going to be changing things up a little bit. We'll now have assigned ages into certain areas. And then we'll rotate. So for example, from 7:30 to 8, and the K2, the kindergarten through second graders are going to be in the art room. The 3rd through 8th graders will be in the multi. And you guys can have some organized games in there. I'm hoping that you'll have some organized games and you can have some free play time. But I'm hoping this will also narrow down the kids and help us keep a better eye on them as well. Then we'll rotate, so about every half hour we'll rotate, so 8 to 8:30, they'll switch rooms, and then from 8:30 to 8:45 they're going to start cleaning up in the mornings and being out at their check-in groups by 8:45. So that means if you're a check-in leader, you need to be ready to go with your clipboard out at your site by 8:45. Aftercare from 3:30 to 4, that's K2 will be in the art room, or kindergarten through second grade will be in the art room. 3rd through 8th grade will be in the multi, then we'll rotate again. And between 5 and 5:30, just get everybody into the gym. And then from 5:30 to 6, put them all in the art room, and that's where you guys will close out for the day. And then just try and make sure that you plan activities and fun things for them to do. We want to make sure that this is a fun thing for them. They're there usually longer than we are, and we don't want it to be a dreadful place for them. So if you need any supplies or anything, let me know. I've ordered some stuff that I think would help, some more games, some more card games, board games, some coloring stuff, some construction paper, all that kind of stuff. All right, the most important part, the bathrooms. The urinals in the boys' bathrooms are going to be out of service, so as of tomorrow morning, I'll be covering them with trash bags. And then as a leader, you can either send them in one at a time. If you only have 2 kids, you need to send them in one at a time while you wait outside the door. It's a liability for us to be inside, so we were going to have you guys go inside, but I think it's just too big of a liability, so I'm going to go ahead and keep you guys on the outside, but if you have a group of 3 or more, then you can send them all in together, and that's so that way we can make sure if something happens in the bathrooms, that somebody's going to be coming out and telling us. And hopefully that will cut down on the rough housing and playing around in the bathrooms as well. So when that happens, all your kids will be sitting up against the wall, and then you can send them in a couple at a time. I'm going to leave the K2 bathrooms open in the K2 room, so if you guys want to use those, you're more than welcome to. But we do need to keep a really close eye on the restrooms and making sure that people are using them appropriately. For the girls, we'll have the girls' restroom open, but again, same thing applies, 1 at a time. If you only have 2 of them, if you have 3 or more, you can send them in up to no more than 4 people in the restroom at a time. And then we need to just make sure that we're not letting anybody go by themselves at all, and we're not letting them go into buddies anymore. So I will make the announcement tomorrow morning to the entire camp, but we need to make sure that we are watching, guarding doors, making sure nobody goes out of our sight. So please keep your eyes open for that and help out if you see any kids trying to leave by themselves. Also, if you see anybody on campus, we need to approach them, and even if it's 15 of us asking, have you been helped yet? Who are you? What are you doing? All that kind of stuff. We need to make sure that happens. And then lastly, I just apologize for all the late changes in the season, but I'm hoping that this will all eliminate some of the problems that we have. Just with more kids, we're getting more complaints, but that's just going to happen. But I'm going to try and limit all of those and try and get them down to as little and few emails as I have to and calls that I have to make as possible. So last thing though, I just really want to thank all of you for your hard work. It doesn't happen without you guys, and the kids don't love camp without you guys. We get a lot more kudos than we do bad stuff. So I just want to really thank you guys for all your hard work and just let you know that I truly appreciate you. And I know I tried to say it on Friday, but I get caught up in the moment of things not going right. And so I always am telling you what you're doing wrong and not necessarily what you're doing right. And I apologize for that. But I think that you guys are doing an awesome job this year. I'm really excited for you guys and all that you've done. And so definitely give yourself a big pat on the back. And I thank you very much for all that you do. And I will see you all at camp bright and early tomorrow morning. All right, see you later.